I'm Rachel Adams with Self Storage TV. I'm reporting live at Inside Self-Storage World Expo 2015 with Dean Jernigan, President and CEO of Jernigan Capital. So Dean, can you tell me a little bit about what you do in the self-storage industry?
Sure. I have a new job actually. Jernigan Capital is a newly formed company. We just went public 2 weeks ago. We did our IPO. We're traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Our symbol is JCAP. And we are a mortgage REIT, and we are specific and exclusive to the self-storage sector. That's what I do now. What I've done for the previous 31 years in the sector, though, is I started a company called Storage USA in 1984, took it public in 94. GE Capital bought the company in 2002. I retired a couple of years, came back as CEO of a company called CubeSmart. It's a publicly traded company today on the New York Exchange. And I retired again from there a couple of years ago and started Jernigan Capital.
So can you tell me, why is it a great time to invest in the self-storage industry?
Well, it's been a great time to invest in the sector for 31 years now that I've been in the sector, seriously. If you look back for 20 years, since 1994, when we took Storage USA public, the records have been kept since 1994. And storage has been the number one performing sector out of all REIT sectors, to include multifamily, malls, retail, industrial. So it's been a great run for storage. But what's so exciting today is that we're just starting a development cycle. These next 5 or 6 years, we're going to develop many, many storage facilities around the country. And we have a pent-up demand. For the last 5 years, we've only developed in the top 50 markets about 300 facilities. We would normally have developed about 1,900 facilities. So we're 1,600 facilities behind the development curve, if you will. And if you just keep up with population growth from here for the next 5 years, we need to develop another 1,900. So it's about 3,500 properties that need to be developed. That's $25 billion worth of storage that needs to be developed just to catch up and keep up. And so to me, nothing is more exciting than that.
So what kind of lending programs are available to new operators and those who are looking to expand?
Well, that's what created the opportunity for us to take Jernigan Capital public. The lending, there are opportunities out there, but there are gaps, and we're taking advantage of those gaps. If you own a storage facility and you just want to refinance it, you have the CMBS market. You have commercial banks that do some lending in the storage space. But if you want to develop a storage facility, it's really the commercial banks. If you have a good relationship with your banker, and you have a good financial statement, you can borrow 65, 70% of your cost to develop a storage facility. At Jernigan Capital, we actually will loan up to 90% of cost because we've been in the business a long time. We feel like we know how to underwrite better. We're very responsive to our borrowers, and so we're making loans now. Even though we just went public 2 weeks ago, we're actually closing our first 2 loans tomorrow. So that is, I think a big opportunity for us going forward. That $25 billion worth of storage properties that need to be built over the next 5 years. There's really nobody standing out there today ready to provide the financing like we are at Jernigan Capital. So I am very, very excited about the opportunity because of this gap. And it was really created by the Great Recession. Perhaps everyone's heard of Dodd-Frank. There was some legislation put in place during the recession because the banks needed help. And so the banks got bailed out by the Fed, and they put regulations in place to keep the banks from getting in trouble again. And those regulations are really holding lending back in our sector. So we are a non-regulated lender because we're a publicly traded company. And so the banks are there, but not there in a big way. So it's a little bit challenging if you want to develop. If you just want to refinance an existing facility, there are opportunities out there.
Would you say it's easier to get a loan today than it was 5 years ago?
It was next to impossible 5 years ago. So yes, it's very much easier today. 5 years ago would have been 2010, right in the middle of the Great Recession. And so lending is opening up, and Jernigan Capital is a good example of that. But it's still not that easy. You still need to be professional. You need to be a good borrower. You need to have a good business plan. You need to have a good facility. If those things add up, then you can get a loan today. But it's challenging, and again, that creates opportunity for somebody like me.
Are there steps that new investors or operators can take to improve their chances of getting a loan?
Absolutely. When we first look to make a loan to someone, we look at the borrower first. We want to underwrite the borrower to make sure that person is professional in every way possible. So that's something a borrower needs to think about. They think if they have a great site, you can go just borrow money, but not always the case. We make loans that we don't require the guarantee of the borrower, non-recourse loans, and so the site is important, but that borrower doing the right thing to get the site developed appropriately, making all the right decisions, is more important than the site normally. So I would encourage people to present yourself as a professional in the sector, to have a good site if you're looking to develop, or if you're looking to refinance, have a good set of operating numbers, profit and loss statements, but present yourself in the most professional way possible, because the borrower is really the person that makes or breaks the deal with lenders such as ourselves.
So do you have any more advice for investors or operators who are seeking a loan?
Sure. It's a great time to be in the storage sector, great time to be in the business. It's a great time to develop. So I would encourage people who maybe haven't developed before, but they think they can. They maybe are in the space now, or maybe not. It doesn't really make that much difference. It's not that hard to develop storage. I would encourage people to go for it. Go for that brass ring, so to speak. It is a great time to be in the business.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dean.
My pleasure.